All right, it's Friday. I can't believe we made it through 3 days of this. Hopefully you're still doing very well. I want you to look at this problem. This should have been your warm-up. Make sure that you have done this first before I walk through it. I want you to make sure you know how to do these things. If you remember from yesterday, the most important thing is the equation. So 2 pi r squared is for the top and the bottom. And then we add that to the lateral surface area, which is 2 pi r h. I always like to think of soup cans, how the top and the bottom are metal, and then you have the paper label around it. The paper label is your lateral surface area. The top and bottom metal bases are your area of your bases. So if I go through the first one, and I plug it all in, I have a radius of 2, and I have a height of 7. So if I write that problem out, I get 2 times 3.14 times 2 squared, and I'm going to add that to 2 times 3.14 times 2 times 7. So if I start and I write the problem out, hopefully you guys practiced that yesterday and that you really wrote out all those problems. For the first part, I get 25.25. For the second part, I get 87.92. So if I add them together, I should get, okay, I'm going to check my work one more time. 2 times 3.14 times 4, 25.12. I think I misadded. And then I do the second one. And I get 87.92. So if I add those up, yep, I was a little off. It should be 04. All right. Okay, so for number 2, same thing. If you walked through that, let's go ahead and erase this so you guys we can work it out. All right, so for the next one, again, same concept. Plug in those numbers that you know to do. So we're going to do 2 times 3.14 times 3 squared. And we're going to add that to 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 4. I want to make sure I write down my answers this time so that I don't try and remember it. All right, 2 times 3.14 times 9 gives me 56.52. For the lateral surface area, if I multiply 2 times 3.14 times 3 times 4, I get 75.36. Make sure I add them together. And I do have to round to the nearest tenth, so I get 131.88. So it's 131.9 inches squared. That should be for number 2. Okay, moving on to number 3. Let's check your work, make sure we're doing okay. Do check right now. Go ahead and pat yourself on the back if you've gotten at least one of the 2, if not more, correct. If you haven't gotten either one correct, look over your work. First, is your work written down? Have you done it correctly? What are you forgetting about the equation? Remember, this equation, we just need to take the information and plug it in. All right, so for number 3, I'm going to say 2 times 3.14 times 1 squared. Right away, I should know what that is. And then I'm going to add that to 2 times 3.14 times 1 times 5. So as I multiply 2 times 3.14 times 1 squared, I get 6.28. And then if I do the lateral surface area, 2 times 3.14 times 1 times 5, I get 31.4. All right, add those 2 together, and I get 37.68. Oh, don't forget, I have to round it. So I'm going to get 37.7, and I have to include my unit. All right, number 4, last one before we go through the mini lesson today. All right. If I look at this, I want you to see if you can do it on your own. Write it out. Make sure you've done your work, and I'm going to give you your answer. So I'm going to do it. Let's see. 3.14, still on erase, sorry. 3.14 times 2 times 2 squared plus 2 times 3.14 times 2 times 6. All right, 3.14 times 2 times 4, 25.12. 2 times 3.14 times 2 times 6, 75.36. Add these up, and I get 100.5 feet squared. Okay, if you feel good, let's go ahead and look over a mini lesson very quickly, and then you can do the assignment for today.